you don't know me, I teach at Miller Place in St. James. I have a background in vinyasa and hatha yoga, but I like to teach a little bit differently, so if you have any preconceived notions of yoga, try to let them go. Try to make this a relaxing 45 minutes for you. I know there's a lot of craziness going on outside. It's easy to let yourself panic and let those emotions manifest into physical things. So let's try to calm it on down. Try to find some mindfulness here. And mindfulness is used a lot. It's a term that's thrown out very often. What I mean by mindfulness is simply choosing one thought over another. And you don't necessarily have to replace that thought with something positive. You can replace it with something neutral. Something like the ground is brown, the air feels cold. Anything else other than those panicked feelings. So when you're ready, we're gonna lie on down, get nice and comfy. Find a position, take up as much space as you need. Close those eyes, and just start to tune in with that breath. If it's feeling a little short or shallow, try to deepen that breath. Making sure your inhales are filling both your belly and your chest. And your exhales lasting twice as long as your inhales. Checking in with the sensations in your body. Letting your body feel heavy against the mat. Maybe readjusting, slightly tucking your chin in towards the chest to lengthen the back of the neck. Softening the shoulders away from the ears. And when you're ready, bring your hand to your belly and to your heart. Just a little breathing exercise here to make sure we're using our full lungs. On your inhale, breathe into your belly hand first, then your chest. Then exhale, chest hand, then belly. Inhale, belly, then chest. Exhale, chest, then belly. 2 more times. Excellent. Place those arms back down towards your sides. And when you're ready, gently just rock that head from side to side. Keeping those eyes closed, maybe tucking the chin in. Slowly awakening that upper body. One more breath. Good. Come back to center in stillness. Keep those eyes closed. And on your inhale, I just want you to shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. Create some tension there. Nice big squeeze. And on your next exhale, just release that tension. Drop the shoulders. Again, inhale, squeeze. Exhale, release, relax. Keep alternating between creating and releasing that tension. Letting your breath guide you. Two more times. On your next inhale, drive that right knee in towards the belly and the chest. Couple options here. You can grab behind the thigh, interlace those fingers. Maybe a little bit deeper, go onto that shin. At first, keeping the feet soft. Focus on your upper body. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Gently tuck that chin in, lengthen the back of the neck. And then on your exhale, use that arm strength. Pull that right knee in towards the belly and the chest. Really keep that compression. Try not to release at all. Breathing as deeply as you can, letting that belly press against the thigh. Good. Keep that inward pressure. Keep squeezing the thigh against the belly and just start to rock that knee from side to side, coming towards the outside, then pulling back towards the belly button. Keep on rocking, keeping that tension, squeezing the thigh into the belly. If there's any particularly tense position, maybe pause. Breathe into that tension. Check in with your shoulders. Make sure you haven't crunched them all the way up towards your ears. Let everything relax. One more breath. Good. Come back to center, release some of that tension. We're going to take our left hand on the outside of that right leg. Right arm is going to extend to your side. Pull that leg across your body over to the other side. Let the hips and the knees rock. Now if your foot is just kind of hanging out in the air, just rest it onto the leg beneath you. If you can find the floor with the foot, then rest it on the floor as well. The key here is focusing on the upper body rather than on that lower body. Those shoulders should be flush against the mat. Shift your gaze over that right shoulder. Lengthen nice and long on your inhales. And pull with that left arm. Sink a little deeper into the twist on your exhales. One more breath. Good, engage the core, press that right hip back down. Once you return to center, drop that right leg all the way flat to the mat. Take a breath, let everything reset. Good, what we do on one side, we're gonna do on the other. Inhale that left knee in. Either interlacing behind the knee or maybe onto that shin. Checking in with the upper body first. Just drop the shoulders away from the ears, tuck the chin in gently, lengthen the back of the neck. Now use that arm strength, pull that knee in towards the belly and the chest. Let that thigh compress against the belly. Keep that compression, don't lose that tension. Arms are strong, core is strong. Good. When you're ready, keep that inward tension. Gently just start to rock that knee from side to side. Keeping those feet soft. Letting that hip crease get massaged, belly against the thigh. Still breathing just as deeply as we've been breathing. Maybe pausing at a particularly tender spot. 2 more breaths. Good. Return to center. Loosen a little bit of that tension. Your right hand is going to come on the outside of that left leg. Left arm extends. Pull that leg across the body all the way over to that right side. Again, if that foot is just flailing in the air, rest it on the leg beneath. If you can find the floor, then rest the foot on the floor. Make sure both of those shoulders are pressing evenly against the mat. Turn your gaze over the left shoulder. And on your inhales,
Get nice and long with that spine. On your exhales, try to sink a little deeper. Sink the knees and the hips a little further to the right side. Perfect, tighten the core. Push that left hip on down. Release that leg at center. And take a couple breaths here. Let everything reset and relax. Perfect. From here, we're going to move into a little bit of core work. I'm not going to lie, this is going to be very challenging, so try to bear with me. The key here is focus on your breath. Your breath should not be just one breath through this whole exercise. A lot of times we tense up and hold. Try to let the breath flow. So, when you are ready, we're going to bring our fingertips up near our ears. Now, oftentimes you'll see in crunches, people kind of crunch in and bring the elbows in. I don't want you to bring the elbows in. I want the elbows to be pressing back, keeping the heart open. Just think about your chest lifting to the ceiling. Don't think about bringing yourself towards the legs. When you're ready, squeeze those legs together. Lift the legs up towards the ceiling. Squeeze nice and tight. You can either point through the toes or push through the heels. Doesn't matter to me. Then on your next exhale, lift the heart. Again, we're not crunching. We're just lifting the heart, trying to levitate the shoulders off the ground. Now, when you're ready, keep on breathing, nice and slow. Lower the legs slightly, hold. You're going to feel a little shaky. Lower a little bit, hold. Keep those shoulders up. Lower a little bit, hold. And then relax all the way down. Take a breath. If your lower back felt a little uncomfortable in that, you can release the arms and keep them underneath the back, creating a little bit of a diamond with those fingers. I'll demonstrate that. For those of you who still want to keep the hands near the ears, do so for the second round. When you're ready, lift those legs on up. Push through the heels or point through the toes as long as those feet are active. Squeeze the legs together. Start to lift the heart towards the ceiling. Nice and slow. Lower, hold. Lower, hold. Lower, hold. And release all the way down. Take a few breaths, check in. If that breath is feeling short or shallow, try to slow it down. Deepen those breaths. Remember, belly then chest, chest then belly. Perfect. On your next inhale, reach the arms up overhead, get nice and long here. Reaching through the fingers and the toes. And on your exhale, we're going to forcefully sit ourselves up. For those of you who have taken my classes, usually we quickly come up. I want to see if you can slow it down. See if you can forcefully squeeze that core, lift on up. Good. Once you're sitting up nice and tall, we're going to start to round into that back again. Energize through the fingers and the toes. Tuck in the chin. See how slowly you can come down. It might not be as graceful as you want it to be. Once you reach the ground, release, relax. Have some fun with it. One more round. On your inhale, reach up overhead, lengthen through those fingers and those toes. Exhale, forcefully sit yourself up. See if you can slow it down. Good. Once you're up, nice and slow. This is our last time coming down. Have some fun with it. Tuck in that chin, round through the upper back, and release, relax. Good. One more time coming up. This time you can make it quick. Inhale, lengthen nice and long. Exhale, come on up. Good. We're going to sit up nice and tall here. Legs are extended, pushing through those heels, lengthen through the crown of the head. Imagine you're like a puppet on a string. Shoulders dropping away from the ears, and hands fall wherever they fall. Good. So coming into this fold, we're not just going to dive down to the toes. I want you to think about keeping the back nice and flat. Hinge just at the hips, lead with the heart. Keep the back flat, so come as far as you can to keep the back flat. This is as far as I can come. If you start to round forward, bring yourself back on up. You might just be sitting nice and tall. Press through those heels. Give me one more breath. Good, now continue your journey down. Let that back begin to round, but keep leading through the heart rather than through the head. Get as low as you can go, and then drop the head, drop the neck. From here, you can leave your hands on the mat, or maybe you reach to the shins, maybe to the ankles, maybe down to those feet. If you're reaching to those feet, make sure you're not hanging out here in a nice bendy position. We're trying to lengthen the spine. So drop to the ankles if you need to lengthen. Give me one more breath. Good, nice and slow. Engage the core. Roll on up. And we're going to swing those legs behind us, come into a tabletop position. Knees are hip width, hands are shoulder width. Spread out the fingers nice and wide, gripping into the mat. On your inhale, our belly is going to come down, chin up, tailbone up. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. On your exhale, round on down. Tuck in the pelvis, tuck in the chin, separate the shoulder blades. Inhale, pull the palms to the knees, thread the heart through. Squeeze. Exhale, round, push the fingertips to the top of the mat. Tuck and separate those shoulders. Good, keep on moving. If you'd like to incorporate the feet, on your inhales, you can tuck the toes. On your exhales, flip back to the top of the feet. 3 more rounds. Good. After that last round, return to a nice neutral spine. Keeping your hands shoulder width apart, we're just going to walk it up a little bit higher on the mat. From here, shift your weight forward up over the wrist. Lengthen the spine, making sure not to banana back here. So we don't want the hips to drop into a banana back. Keep the core squeezing up towards the spine, pressing through those arms. You should feel a little bit of a burn in those arms. Taking one more breath. Good. Now we're going to slowly come down. I always tell in my classes, I don't want any chicken wings hanging out here. Tuck your chicken wings in towards your sides. Keep the elbows tucked towards the torso. Back is flat, lower on down. Same thing on our inhale. Our elbows are going to stay tucked. Now in Cobra, we don't have to come all the way straight in the arms. We're going to first lift through the heart. So when you're ready, start to lift through the heart. You can even hover the hands off the ground. Then we're going to plant the hands. Begin coming on up. You can pause here with the elbows bent, as long as those shoulders aren't rolling forward. Keep the heart opening, the shoulders squeezing together. If you'd like to continue the journey up, keep the elbows tucked, no chicken wings, and come to a straighter cobra. Pressing into the tops of those feet, tucking in the lower tummy to protect the lower back. Good. Then push into the tops of the thighs. Exhale, press on back. Come into any variation of child's pose that feels best for you. In honor of allergy season, if you would like to give your forehead a little bit of a massage, just rock the head gently side to side onto the mat. If your head can't quite reach the mat, get a pillow, get anything. If you have blocks at home, use a block. Rest the forehead. Give me 2 more breaths. Good, come on up. All right, we're gonna repeat that vinyasa. You have an option to stay on your knees again. Do the exact same thing we just did. If you would like to make it a little more challenging, I'm going to use the same cueing, but this time we're going to tuck the toes, lift up into a plank. So either knees dropped or knees up. When you're ready, on your inhale, shift the weight forward, up over the wrist, come to the tiptoes. On your exhale, no chicken wings, keep them tucked. We're going to lower all the way down to the mat. Good. Flip onto the tops of the feet, press into the tops of the feet, lift the hands so you're using the back muscles first. Then push through the hands. Pause wherever in your cobra you need to pause. Taking one more breath. And then push on back. Take your child's pose again. Maybe rocking that forehead, maybe grabbing a pillow to place underneath. And we're gonna make this child's pose a little more active. So I want you to dig those fingertips into the mat. Start to extend those arms, lifting the forehead, lifting the forearms off of the mat. And I want you to push the hips back to the heels. Get nice and long here. Pressing those hips back, pushing the fingers forward. One more breath. Good. And slowly rise up. Excellent. Coming back into our tabletop position. Knees are hip width, hands are shoulder width. Tuck those toes under, and we're just going to hover the knees just an inch off of the mat. Good. From here, continue the journey, but push through the wrists, push up and back. Send the hips high and far back. In our downward facing dog, you don't have to straighten the legs. Bend the knees as much as necessary so that you're not coming into a plank. We want to lengthen, flatten the spine, get those hips up nice and high. Stay here in stillness. Give me 2 more breaths. Beautiful. Now start to pedal out those legs. Bending one knee at a time, pressing one heel at a time. Keeping those arms nice and strong. Bear with me. And come back to stillness. On your next inhale, instead of flinging that leg up nice and high, I want you to keep the toes face towards the ground. Keep the hips level. Press nice and high, not as high as you'll usually go. Then we're going to lift up onto the tiptoes of the left leg, shift forward into a plank, and with a little bit of inertia, tuck the knee in, fling that foot on through. If you need to readjust, bring that foot on up. We're aiming for right knee over right ankle. Frame that foot with those hands. If you need a little bit of height, again, if you have blocks at home, use those. You can use pillows too, whatever gives you a little bit of height here. I like to come to my fingertips personally. All right, make sure that back leg isn't lazy. Push through that heel, lengthen nice and long, lift the gaze. Good, tighten the core. Focus on your torso, not your arms. So nice and slow, press evenly through those feet. Start to rise away. This is gonna challenge your balance. Try to stay. Once you're up vertical, then lift the arms up over the head. Readjusting as necessary, shoulders dropping away from the ears. Lengthening through those fingertips. Excellent. I'm getting a little warm, so I'm going to take this off. So for this next one, we're going to come into eagle arms. If you're getting real tired here, drop down to your knee. If not, I challenge you, try to stay up, challenge those legs. We're going to take our right arm, put it underneath our left arm, stack the elbows. You're either going to make a crisscross or see if you can bring the backs of the wrists towards each other. Maybe loop around the thumb, or maybe go for the whole bind. Interlace those fingers, wherever you feel most comfortable. Right knee should still be over that right ankle. On your next inhale, start to lift the elbows away from the chest. Maybe this is where you stay. If you keep falling out of this, just get right back in. Challenge your balance. That's the most important part of this pose.
If you want to challenge yourselves today, see if you can inhale those arms even higher. Follow with the gaze. You would be surprised how much this starts to mess with your proprioception. Now on your exhale, we're going to reverse. Think cat-cow spine. We're going to dive down, round into the back. Maybe pause here, even rest your forearm onto that thigh. A little bit tiring. If you want to challenge yourself further, dive to the inside of that right leg. Come down nice and low. Variation of humble warrior. When you're ready, tighten the core, lengthen through the spine, come back on up. We're gonna do this 2 more times. Again, pausing wherever you're most comfortable. If you're getting real tired, drop on down to that back knee. You can still do the same flow. Inhaling here, exhaling, diving on down. Good. 1 more round, whether you're on your knee or up. Good. Coming all the way back up to vertical. Release those arms overhead. I know you guys are dying. Bring those hands on down. Frame that foot. Round a little bit into the upper back so you can lift that foot. Kick it on back to your plank. Just holding this plank for 1 breath. Good. Drop those knees. Take any variation of child's pose that feels best. If that hip or those thighs are burning, that's a good thing. Bear with me. Slow down that breathing. Slow down the heart rate. Slow down your mind. One more breath. Good. Rise back on up. Coming into our tabletop position again. Knees are hip width, hands are shoulder width. Spread out the fingers nice and wide. Tuck those toes. Lift the knees. Give a little hover here. We're not super high here. Just hover the knees right above the ground. Good. Then push through those palms, through those fingers. Press the hips high and far back. Lengthen through that spine. Again, I'd rather see bent legs than a bent back. Keep that back nice, flat, and long. 1 more breath in stillness. Then start to pedal it out. Bending 1 knee at a time. You can even sink the hips to one side. Open up those legs. 1 more breath. Good. Back to stillness. When you're ready, again, don't just fling that leg on up. Keep the toes face down. Press through the heel. Get as high as you can while still keeping the hips level to the mat. Then we're going to inhale, lift the right toes, come over the wrist, and nice and quick, use some inertia, drive it on through. If you need to readjust, do so. Left knee's over that left ankle. I like to use my fingertips. Make sure that back knee isn't being lazy. Try to really push through that back heel, lengthen all the way through the tip of the nose. Good. Tighten your core here, nice and slow. Focus on the torso. Squeeze those inner thighs towards each other. Come on up to vertical. Keeping a bend in that front knee, shoulders drop away from the ears, reaching through the fingertips. Good. Making sure we're not opening up to the side. Press that right hip, whoa. Press that right hip forward. Nice and slow. This time, we're gonna bring left arm under the right arm, stack the elbows. Maybe stay here, just make a little X with those elbows. Maybe press the backs of the wrists towards each other, try to loop around the thumb, or maybe go for the full bind. All right, turning back to the front of the mat. Again, if you need to, drop to that knee. When you're ready, oh boy, I'm not ready. All right, inhale, start to lift those elbows away from the chest. Maybe this is where you stay. If you'd like to go a little deeper into a back bend, continue lifting through the elbows, through the heart. Follow with the gaze. Keep that balance. On your exhale, nice and slow. Don't fling out of it. Use the core. Maybe coming down, resting onto that front thigh. Maybe continuing to the inside of that left leg. Again, don't fling out of it. 2 more times. Use that core. Drive evenly through both of those legs. Keep the front knee bent. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Bear with me, guys. You're doing great. Good. If you feel those ankles twitching, that's exactly what I'm looking for. We're going to come back on up. Release those arms up overhead. And on your next exhale, take a fold on down. Frame that foot. Round into the upper back. Kick that left foot back. Take a breath in plank. Good. Drop on down to those knees. Come on back to your child's pose. Take a breath. One more breath. And rise up. Good. When you're ready, back to tabletop, tucking those toes, lifting the knees, push the hips high and far back, downward facing dog. Bending as generously as needed into those knees. Take one back breath. Then shift your gaze between those hands and nice little gentle steps. Tiptoe up towards those hands. Bend as generously as you need to. Feet are going to come hip width apart. Spread out those toes. Nice softness in the knees so we're not locking them out. And just let everything hang. If this isn't quite comfortable for you, bend even deeper into those knees. Let the chest hang and rest onto those thighs. No one ever said we needed straight legs. One more breath. Good. Reach those fingertips forward. If you're having an issue reaching the ground, bend as deeply as you need to get those fingertips to the ground. We're going to flatten out the spine, gaze forward, and reverse swan dive up. So to do so, press evenly through both of those feet. Squeeze the glutes. Rise on up. Good. Arms come up overhead, palms together. Maybe take a little back bend. And exhale, bring those hands to heart center. Good. We're going to finish with a little bit of balancing here. So I know for me, balancing was always a really difficult thing. I got very frustrated with myself. I would call myself names. So this is a perfect opportunity to practice that mindfulness we were talking about. Pay attention to the thoughts that you've been telling yourself during the class and what you're continuing to tell yourself, and replace those thoughts. Again, it doesn't have to be with something positive, but it can be with something more neutral. When you're ready, feet are hip width apart. Spread out those toes, soften those knees, not locking them out. We're going to bring those arms up overhead. Start to shift the weight into the left foot, lift the right foot. Maybe this is where you stay. Just practice that balance. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper, we're going to start to kick that right foot back. Similar to our downward facing dog, I want the toes face towards the ground. Your hands can come to prayer, they can come out, up, wobbling. I don't mind what happens to your hands. Whoops. When you're ready, maybe tip a little bit further. Make sure we're not locking out that bottom leg. Toes still face towards the ground. If you've fallen out, get right back in just how we started. Try to hold here. Softness in that left knee, right hip and right toes level to the ground. Think about your pinky toe pressing towards the ground. One more breath. Good. Bend into that left knee. Give a little swoosh on through. Plant that foot down. Give a rest. Shake it out. Maybe roll those ankles. Wiggle those toes. Same thing on the other side. When you're ready, inhale those arms up. Bend a little into those knees. Shift the weight into the right foot. Lift the left foot. Maybe this is where you stay, just practicing your balance. Feeling that little twitchiness in the ankle. If you'd like to go deeper, hands can come wherever is comfortable. Start to kick the foot back as you tip your torso forward. Again, we're trying to kick through that back heel, toes face down towards the mat, softness in this right knee. Keeping the heart open, hips level. If you fall out, get right back in. Challenge yourself today. You might surprise yourself. Good. Come on out. Bend a little deeper into that knee. Bring that leg on through. Lower it down. Give a little jiggle. All right. Feet are going to come about the width of your mat. If you don't have a mat today, just a little bit wider than your hips, toes faced out at a 45-degree angle. Our hands are going to come onto our hips, little softness in the knees, and we're going to tip forward like a teapot. Keep the back nice and flat. And pause at parallel here. You should feel a nice big stretch in the backs of those legs. Keep some softness in those knees, belly button tucking up towards the spine. And then we're going to continue the journey on down. Keep on coming. And let the arms fall. Again, same as our other forward fold. If this isn't super comfortable for you, you can bend into those knees a little bit deeper. Try to find ease where there is tension. One more breath. Good. From here, you have a couple options. Our hands are going to come to the ground, bending as deeply as you need to get those hands there. And we're going to come into a little squat, so you can either pause here, or you can continue your journey down with those hips, coming into a yogi squat. If it's not super comfortable here, you can stack some pillows or a block underneath you so you can sit on top of it. Otherwise, maybe test your balance here, see if you can lift the hands up. Before we go right into placing the hands into those knees, make sure the knees aren't caving in. Open up those hips, then place the elbows. Keep the chest open, the back flat. You can even rock side to side if you'd like. One more breath. Good, whichever squat you're in, releasing those hands, pressing the hips back on up to that forward fold. Taking a breath here. Good. Two options again. You can either sit down like a normal person, or if you'd like to have a little fun with me today, have a little fun with yourself. Bend those knees, sink the hips. Once we get here, round into the spine, tuck your chin. Make sure you're not going to hit anything behind you. And we're going to, not so gracefully, come on down and back. Give yourself a nice spinal massage. Maybe rocking side to side, front to back, or create little circles on the spine. And then coming back to center. Good. Drop those feet on down. Once those feet are down, I want you to get those heels as close up towards your butt as you can. Try to really get them in there. Press those heels down. Palms come down to your sides. Snuggle the shoulder blades underneath slightly. And then press through those heels. Lift those hips. Nothing crazy here. We're trying to wind down. Making sure the knees aren't caving in or splaying out. Keeping the core nice and tight. Releasing that lower back.
On your next exhale, nice and slow, lower the hips on down. Unsnuggle those shoulder blades, walk those feet to a more comfortable position. Good. From here, arms are either gonna come in goalpost arms. So goalpost arms, simply, you look like a goalpost. If you have enough space, then reach those arms out nice and wide into a T. Shoulders are down and back away from the ears. And we're gonna squeeze the thighs together here, trying to use them as one unit rather than two. So we're gonna drop those knees together over towards the right side. Keep the shoulders pinned. Once you feel that stretch, tighten the core, bring the knees up and over to the left side. Keep alternating here, letting that breath slow down. Maybe feeling a couple snap, crackle, pops in the back. Let that lower back release. And then returning back up to center. Again, either keeping those arms in goalpost or in a T. Two options for this last twist. First option, we're gonna bring the left leg up and over, cross it over the right leg. Leave it like this, just keeping the legs crossed, and then we're gonna fold on over, bringing the knees to that right side. If you wanna go a little bit deeper, you can bring this left foot underneath the right calf, try to tuck it under into eagle legs, dropping the legs down, and then drop the knees over to the right. Whichever you choose, gaze over that left shoulder, try to keep both shoulders in contact with the mat, and try to notice if you're resisting this twist. Try to surrender into this twist, letting gravity sink the knees and the hips to that right side. Taking 2 more breaths. Then engage the core, press down through that left hip, rotate the knees up to center, then unravel those legs. Take a second to reset. When you're ready, other side. Right leg can come up and over, either just crisscrossing those legs and then rocking the knees to the left. If you'd like to go a little deeper, before you rock the knees, that right foot is going to try to come under, tuck under that left calf, drop the feet, and bring those knees over to the left side. Whichever of those two you choose, gaze over the right shoulder. Every inhale, find a little bit of length in that spine. Every exhale, anchor through that right shoulder blade as you let the knees and the hips sink a little further to that left side. Maybe taking this time to close your eyes. Our heart rates are finally coming down. Focusing in on that breath. Two more breaths. Then tighten the core, press that right hip down to the mat, unravel those legs, take take a second to reset. Then we're going to bring the soles of the feet together, knees laid out to the side. It's towards the end, so we're really trying to relax here. So if there's a little bit too much tension going on, bring those heels a little further away from the groin. Let those knees open. Hands can come wherever is comfortable. And let everything rest and relax. Again, if you have those pillows, you can also put the pillows right underneath those knees to give a little bit of support. We're going to take a final few moments in this posture, so close your eyes, let those hips open, center in on your breath. And as you're taking those final few breaths, I'd like to share a quote that was actually said to me by one of my coworkers, and it has stuck to me to this day. The quote goes, "Life is amazing, and then it's awful. And then it's amazing again. And in between the amazing and the awful, it's ordinary, mundane, and routine. Breathe in the amazing, hold on through the awful, and relax and exhale through the ordinary. That's just living, heartbreaking, soul-healing, amazing, awful, ordinary life. And it's breathtakingly beautiful." Thank you guys for sharing this with me. It is always an honor and a blessing to share this space with you. Namaste, everyone. Stay healthy,